Okay. How does Iceblu333 currently? It is July the 3rd, 2026. It is 10:40 p.m. I was trying to make a video around the time of the exact conjunction of transiting Mars conjoining transiting Uranus inside the sky. And so I was actually watching the news today. Watching the news. Trying to see was there anything big that was happening now. I knew the 250 America's 250th birthday situation was going on. But what I did not know was that Taylor Swift she was apparently getting married today on July the 3rd, 2026. And I think also the White House they sponsored some kind of event today as well in regards to the America's 250th or whatever. And so apparently around like well, I think that there was a heat advisory inside of Washington D.C. I think, and so they had to postpone some events to I believe like 5 o'clock of the evening or something like that. So there was already like a bad sign. I think other stuff happened too, but that's not important. All I'm saying is that Taylor Swift's wedding. Now Taylor Swift she does have a pattern in regards to hosting what having a big event and something bad happening at the event. Kanye West snatched the microphone from her and saying that Beyonce was like the greatest artist. She produced the best video of all time, and she was the best artist of all time, which shocked the hell out of Beyonce. So I'm like, my Candace Owens slash Cardi B slash Joe Biden Santa Claus wish list, and it's kind of like in reference to anyone who loves number 13. And so I am terrified. I am terrified that things might not play out how Donald Trump wants it to play out in regards to July 4th, 2026, and him just saying, "Oh, I got this in my repertoire." Anyway, apparently also Taylor Swift she donated $26 million to several uh situations or whatever. Even I think Dolly Parton she ended up getting like $2 million in regards to some. So Taylor Swift donated $26 million to several charities, and of one of those charities, she donated to one of Dolly Parton's charities. She donated $2 million. Anyway, and see if you don't know, Donald Trump he's been trying to give Dolly Parton I believe a medal of a presidential medal or something like that, and every time they try to I think he tried to schedule or whatever, she apparently they was scheduling conflicts or something like that. So that's that. Dolly Parton she even made a video and thanked Taylor Swift for the $2 million whatever. But anyway, I'm terrified in regards to my little prediction or whatever, because transit every time transit Mars has conjoined transit Uranus inside the sign of Gemini, it was a big event. The first American Civil War, and also the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to name a couple of events that happened. Anyway, so I think I said I was gonna title this video, and then, um, yeah, and then it's gonna be like a continuation of my first and then video. But anyway, let me pause a second to reorientate myself because I was trying to set the tone real quick. So let me pause. Okay, so let me finish. Well, I'm not finished, but let me say this. So apparently, it was now announced at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time by Taylor Swift's longtime publicist that on July the 3rd, 2026, at 7:30 p.m. that Taylor Swift married uh her boyfriend. I don't have his name right here. Sorry. Um, I need to say something else. Every time there's a big event in regards to Taylor Swift, I'm looking at the recent astrology, 2025. I did say that on the date of September the 5th, 2025, that Taylor Swift will get an ego boost around that date. You know, like 5 days later, on September 10th, 2025, that's when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And the reason how come I was looking into Taylor Swift at the time was because James Jim Comey, he made a reference to Taylor Swift. And keep in mind, this is like months after James Comey, he made this post with some numbers spelling like, with some seashells spelling numbers 8647. And so it was like, well, they said it might be considered a threat to Donald Trump's life or whatever. But anyway, so that's why I was looking into the astrology of Taylor Swift. Now, I just yesterday tried to look into the astrology of Taylor Swift, and I didn't see anything inside of her chart that said something huge is going on, even though apparently she's getting married. Now, I do see in like a month from now that she might get lucky about something, but not right now. Another thing that came inside of Taylor Swift's chart was that on, I believe, September the 18th, 2025, I think her progressed sun or moon made an aspect to her Mars. And so that meant that she should have been angry around that date. And I believe on the 18th of September 2025, that's when Donald Trump, he was one of his planes, the hydraulic system failed, and they had to make an emergency landing or something like that. So, and keep in mind that on the 16th of September 2025, a airplane almost, I believe from Spirit Airlines, they almost collided into a plane that Donald Trump was traveling in as well. And so it's weird that Taylor Swift, she had her looking at the astrology, it showed that she was going through bad astrology that day. So it's like something angered her. Maybe something was supposed to happen, and it didn't go as planned, and it angered her, or maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know, but I don't see anything inside of the chart as of now. Oh, another thing is that on the date of I believe September the 18th, I think that Taylor Swift she announced a release of some kind of Let me pause a second to get the exact Let me pause. Okay, so I'm back. So I believe that on September the 18th, 2025, Taylor Swift she announced a cinematic event titled Taylor Swift: The Official Release Party of a Showgirl, and it was showcasing her new orange color album that was I believe released on October the 3rd. And so I believe it says right here, looking at Google AI, that the 89-minute movie musical event had a limited 3-day theatrical run from October 3rd to October 5th, 2025. And it served as an immersive album listening and viewing party for fans. Something like that. And so on the same day, Donald Trump, his hydraulic system failed inside of his helicopter, I believe. So I think that's all I'm trying to say about Taylor Swift. Let me pause for one more second just to make sure I got everything. Pause. I'm just saying that it's so weird that the astrology right now is showing that transit Mars is going to conjoin transit Uranus side of the sky. I believe at 1:00 a.m. Central Time, July 4th, 2026. Let me pause. Okay, so I'm still just trying to look at these dates real quick. So I believe that on August 26th, 2025, which is about 15 days, 16 days before, or 17 days before Charlie Kirk's assassination. But on August 26th, 2025, Taylor Swift announced her engagement to Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. So, and see on September the 5th, she had a progression to her natal sun, which meant that she should have had an ego boost on that date. And I believe I didn't find a date that Jim Comey made a post about the podcast that Taylor Swift did with this Let me pause. Okay, so I'm back. So former FBI Director James Comey, he posted a video discussing Taylor Swift on August the 17th, 2025. This is like roughly a month before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And he declared himself a Swiftie, but he also said that his favorite songs were by Taylor Swift on, I believe, Exile and another song titled, let me pause a second to get that. Okay, so I'm back. So his favorite two songs by Taylor Swift is Exile featuring Bon Iver and All Too Well, specifically the 10-minute version. And so the song Exile by Taylor Swift, it talks about basically I gave you all the signs, I gave you all the signs, I gave you all the signs, what country you're fighting for now and stuff like that. Just go listen to it. I don't care. And then the All Too Well, specifically the 10-minute version, I didn't see anything inside there. It was like if this was like some kind of like I don't know, some kind of sign. The 10-minute version will probably, in my opinion, will probably like try to just throw somebody off and make them listen to a long, great song. In some people's opinion, James Comey's opinion. Anyway, so that's that. But so my point is that Taylor Swift, she was the podcast that the first podcast that Taylor Swift was ever on was, I believe, by New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce. And the episode premiered on August the 13th, 2025 at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And that's where she revealed her new orange color album, titled, I believe, The Life of a Showgirl. So, and again, Charlie Kirk was assassinated about a month later. So that's that in regards to Taylor Swift now. And that's why I said a few things in regards to Taylor Swift. Anyway, talking about my list, the Candace Owens / Cardi B / Joe Biden / Santa Claus wish list or whatever. And the number 13 or whatever. But anyway, I did not know that Taylor Swift was getting married today. On the same day where Transit Mars will conjoin Transit inside the sky. I'm like, why? I thought that she specifically said that she was into like numerology and astrology and stuff like that. Why today? But anyway, because I was gonna make this video like way more funnier and crazier. I had a few little new props that I had bought, and I was gonna make this kind of funny. But I'm like, now I'm kind of like scared. I pray that that everything goes great in regards to the 4th of July celebration that happens tomorrow or in a few hours. It's 11 o'clock now. Anyway, because I was thinking that a lot of people was going to get got via or in reference to Epstein Island or whatever, Bill Clinton. But anyway, allegedly or in my opinion. Also, it came out that what day was this? On June the 29th, 2026, that, what is it? E. Jean Carroll of the Supreme Court in New York, they awarded Carroll $5 million in damages, and they denied President Trump's appeal for the 2022 defamation case brought against him by writer E. Jean Carroll. So it's like all this stuff is going on. It's like, you know, that Trump really doesn't lose. I told you I need to leave this man alone. Anyway, I'm kind of scared of what this man might do if things don't play out right. So I was simple like, I had a few little props right here. I was gonna be like, You said I'm wearing a Venom shirt, right? So I used to work at a plant, and there's this man. He always referred to Donald. He referred to Donald Trump as Donald Duck, and I'm like, why are you? Why? He's like, I just called him that. I'm like, okay, well. So I was in Dollar General today, right? And so I ended up finding a Batman duck. Quack quack. Quack quack. And so when I think about Batman, honestly, I think about Dan Bongino in this interview he did with what is it, Maria? Let me get the exact date and the exact name of the video. So let me pause. Okay, so I'm back. So I think the interviewer's name, her name was Maria Bartiromo, right? And so let me pause. Okay, I'm back. I tried to rewatch this video. It's called Wave of Transparency. FBI Director Cashtel hints at the agency's move to rebuild American trust. It was posted on May the 18th, 2025. Here it is right here. And it features Dan Bongino, um, Maria, Jesus Christ. Dan Bongino, Cashtel, and then pause a second to get her name again because I'm like, pause. And so her name is Maria Bartiromo, right? And so what gets me is that maybe I was thinking I was making a joke with this little rubber ducky right here, but I was like, I had this video is like 34 minutes, so I had to Anyway, so the date of May the 18th, 2025. So maybe Cash and Dan, they really were planning to release some information. However, on June the 3rd, 2025, Hillary Clinton, she went through the same astrology that Kamala Harris went through when when she had to release her I guess presidential powers or whatever. I believe that happens on December the 8th, 2024. I think when you have to officially succeed and not be the presidential not nominee, but the person who's running for that position or whatever, because Donald Trump was the official winner of the 2024 elections. And so it showed us how Kamala Harris's chart that she was depressed on that day. It was like a restrictive loss for her. So Hillary Clinton, she went through the same progression side of her chart on June the 3rd, 2025. And so maybe, and then around the same time, I think Chuck Grassley, he came out and said that there were some files that were missing that they could barely view because of the FBI software Sentinel, which had a prohibited access feature. So there were some files that this FBI could not see, and so maybe something came out that even more information that Cash and Dan they thought they were ready for, but it came out that it was something a lot more, and so they couldn't really be as transparent as they wanted. So that's just that. So, but I'm thinking back, and I could have sworn I heard Dan Bongino. He was like, he says out of a Batman voice, like, "We're gonna get some pedophiles" or something like that. In so many words. And so I had like a little joke here. Like I was gonna step in and just mess around, but I didn't know that Taylor Swift, her wedding was today. So let's see here. Let me pause for a second to maybe I'll probably try to set the joke up again. Yeah, so pause. Okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try a little joke that I was planning on making. But anyway, so I was gonna start off like, Trump's president, of the United States of America. And so I was like, we're gonna catch some criminals tonight. And so, he's Batman, right? So where are the pedophiles? Where are the pedophiles? Don't be looking at me. I'm not a fucking pedophile. You might want to talk to Bill Clinton. Well, an alleged pedophile. Anyway, something like that. Something like that. Let's see here. I don't know why you have me here. I would never hurt a child. Let's see here. Anyway, I was gonna make it a little bit funnier, but I'm kind of tired. And I don't feel like making any jokes. I'm tired. But I would never go to Epstein Island. I'm a clown. I'm a Joker, but and I do a lot of evil shit. But I would never go to Epstein Island. Not like this guy. Anyway, bad guy. I'll burn the fuck out. Okay. Anyway, so I was gonna make it a little bit funnier than that, but it's up. I was gonna make even like a Heath Ledger joke. Like, so I'm not into children. I'm not. I'm into bats. Hi, bats. No, Joker. It would never happen. Where's Harley Quinn? Let's not worry about her. I'm into you, Batsy. Joker, I don't swing that way. It would never happen. It would never be. What was the other joke? Oh yeah, and I'm like saying like yeah, I'm in the bats because Heath Ledger, who was the best Joker in my opinion, who also starred inside of Brokeback Mountain, so I'm into bats. It would never happen, Joker, ever. Not in this lifetime or the next lifetime or ever. That's what your mouth say, Batsy. But anyway, I was thinking about me and Cash Tell. Cash was like, leave the fuck alone. I'm like, hey, Cash. When are we gonna have that date? Anyway, maybe that's enough joking for now. I got my points in, I think. Right. Oh, so yeah, I guess that's it for me in regards to that. I did watch the full Candace Owens and Sean Ryan interview that came out on the 30th. Let me pause a second to get the exact date. Okay, so no, I was wrong. It was released on July the 2nd, 2026, and it's titled Candace Owens, I Don't Believe Tyler Robinson Was Even There. So here it is right here. I watched the full 4 hours and 44-minute show, and I really didn't learn too much from it. It was just, but I did see how emotional Candace Owens was in regards to Charlie Kirk, and basically she's just, it's like I've been saying all along, she's just grieving. She's doing all this stuff because this is how she's grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. But the thing about it, what she probably doesn't understand is that Cash and Dan and the rest of them, they are really doing the best they can in regards to getting as much information that they can in regards to that shooting and stuff like that, or just doing the best they can in regards to the situation. Anyway, so let's see here. And being that things are under investigation, you can't really say some things because you want to get the maximum penalty put forward against the perpetrators, plural. Let's see here. Well, if there are multiples or whatever, I'm burnt out. So that's that. So let me pause for a second to look at some more of my notes or whatever, and I think I'll get to some of my posts that I made. Because I think I'm gonna tie this video, and then it's gonna be like a extension in regards to my first and then video or whatever. So let me pause. Okay, so I'm back. So I guess that's it for my personal notes. I'm still stuck on Dan Bongino and Cash Tell, or my situation with Cashy Cash. Anyway, like I said in my previous video, wouldn't it be crazy if on May the 15th, when I tried to warn Hillary Clinton about her astrology and her going through the same astrology as the Monica Lewinsky scandal, that she gave my information to the FBI, and I became a level 10 problem in regards to Dan Bongino and Cash Tell Um, and in the end, Hillary Clinton, not knowing that I was probably one of the top astrologers inside the world, if not the best astrologer inside the world, in my opinion. But she ended up snitching on herself. She ended up doing this to her fucking self. You did this to yourself. You snitched on yourself. And here I hear him. You snitched on yourself. You got Batman over 11. You snitched on yourself. In reference to Danny Williams Clinton, the black man who claims to be Bill Clinton's black biological son, and did, I believe, a DNA test, and maybe it was fraudulent. Fraudulent. Maybe it was. Maybe yeah. But anyway, so that would mean that Danny Williams Clinton could probably sue a lot of people. I don't know. And then also, wouldn't it be also election, not election interference, right? Or maybe election interference? Because if it came out that, anyway, I don't know. There's so many ways that they can go. Besides the fact that it's like the morality of it. Just saying. Yet you're screaming Black Lives Matter, and this man he literally says, if Black Lives Matter, why doesn't your black son's life matter? I'm like, and Danny Williams Clinton has his own YouTube channel. Let me pause for a second to pull that up. This boy, so Danny Williams, he has his own YouTube channel called Danny Williams, and it's at Danny Williams 9178. And guess what? He has 13 videos on his channel total. Here's the here it is. If you don't believe me, it's right here. 13. Taylor Swift's favorite number, apparently, and which is also kind of like I don't know if you call it an anagram of my name. So if you think of I, you think of the number 1, and then the 3s. So sometimes I use the number 13 for just to for myself. But the number 13, Taylor Swift, and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. So and also Obama. So Danny Williams / Clinton, he posted a video begging Barack Hussein Obama II for help to verify if Bill Clinton was Danny Williams' actual father. And pause a second to pull that video up. Pause. So here's this video right here. It's titled Bill Clinton's Son, Danny Williams Appeals to President Obama. It was posted on November 2016. It was posted on November the 5th, 2016. And this is around the time that Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton in regards to that election. So I think I had some lore in regards to that. So let me pause a second. Okay, so I'm back. So I got written here, from astrologer Iceblu333's to the Democrats and Barack Hussein Obama II. This black mixed race man, because if it comes out to be true that Bill Clinton, which is a white man, impregnated Danny Williams' mother, I think her name was Bobby Ann Williams. That would mean that he's a mixed race man. But so I start back over. This black / mixed race man, Danny Lee Williams / Clinton, asked his fatherless. And if you don't know Barack Obama, his father was not inside of his life. So fatherless, fellow black mixed race, or first mixed race president for help. And if you don't know, Barack Obama's mother was white, and his father was apparently black. And so I said again, Danny Lee Williams asked his fatherless fellow black first mixed race president for help, and nothing. And I've already shown a video that I posted in regards to that. But here's my AstroSeek post or whatever. You want to read it? So that's that. Let's see here. So if you don't know, all the way back, I'm gonna repeat myself, but all the way back on October 11th, 2025, Bill Clinton he went through some crazy astrology where his progressed retrograde Uranus conjoined his natal Uranus, and so that meant that something shocking should have happened around that date. And the only thing that happened around that date was for Donald Trump. Um, they did not give him the Nobel Peace Prize. They gave it to some other Venezuelan woman or whatever. So, but what I did not know until later on was that Danny Lee Williams Clinton released his book called The Forgotten Son a month later on on November the 6th, 2025. Now, in the upcoming future, well, really now, let me just click this real quick. Let me pause. Okay, so I'm back. So, Cash Patel, or the FBI director, he announced in his video that he posted on June the 2nd, 2026. And the video is titled "Director Announces Launch of Operation Summer Heat 2.0." So, and here's the video right here. He says that within 95 days, and I guess those days will be the months, if you add them all together, it'll be the months of June, July, and August, is that he said that they're going to start doing DNA testing on the people that they round up in regards to people who just commit crimes or whatever. And so, if Bill Clinton ends up getting arrested for any reason or whatever, his DNA might end up getting procured, right? And they might have the chance to run it against Danny Williams Clinton's. And the thing about it is that that could be a major case, because I think that probably that does deal with fraud, and that's what the FBI definitely handles. But not only that, that can be election interference as well too. But then again, that would look kind of bad for Donald Trump, so who knows? But it's the FBI, so whatever. So I made this post. I said, from astrologer Iceblu333's to the Democrats and Bill Clinton. I said in that video I just showed you, in timestamp 4 minutes and 33 seconds, I said DNA testing. That's at timestamp 4 minutes and 33 seconds. That's when Cash Patel says that they have new technology where they can get someone's DNA and run it up against pretty much the books and determine several things. Anyway, so I said DNA testing. Danny Lee Williams Clinton, and I said, and he in Operation Summer Heat 2.0 is supposed to last for 95 days, or between the months of June, July, and August. I'm tired now. Anyway, so that was something. Well, that's something to consider. Let's see what else. So this month, I did say that for Bill Clinton, on July the 20th, 2026, that he will go through the same astrology as the end of his trial. And also around the same date, Chelsea Clinton, I believe on the 21st of July 2026, that's where her progressed moon is going. Her progressed sun will make an aspect to her natal Saturn. It will be an something emotionally and restricting happening to her status and ego and pride. And not only that, apparently for Donald Trump, on the 23rd of July 2026, his progressed moon will enter the sign of Sagittarius. And so that means that people who doubted what people believed about him and what they thought about him, it could be upended in beliefs can be changed and destroyed. The last time Donald Trump's progressed moon entered the sign of Sagittarius, it was around the time, it was like 1998. Let me get the exact lore. Let me pause. Okay, so I'm back. So I'm still talking about the month of July, right? Donald Trump on the 23rd, I believe, of 2020, on the 23rd of July, 2026, his progressed moon will enter the sign of Sagittarius. And the last time this happened was on the date of, well, no. Let me start back over. Because two events have happened so far this year. I'm talking riddles. Let me pause a second just to take a break because it's a lot of information. I'm sorry. I've said it before, but it's just like I had it. I can't find my notes, so pause. Okay, sorry about that. So for Donald Trump, previously, his progressed moon entered his fourth house on September 30th, 1998, and I tried to Google it, and pretty much it said that Donald Trump met Melania Trump around September 1998. And this is while he was going through his divorce with Marla Maples, I believe, and that divorce was finally settled in 1999, and I think she only received like $2 million in that settlement. But anyway, I think that Donald Trump was going through a lot of ups and downs in regards to his finances or whatever, but I believe that he regained his billionaire status around this time when he purchased a GM building or something like that. Let me see here. His acquisition of the GM building near Manhattan Central Park. He purchased it for $800 million with a partner, Contico or whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to try to do the best I can with the information I have here because it's really a lot. But so, however, so moving on. So for Donald Trump, his progressed moon entered the sign of Sagittarius on March 25th, 1999. And still Donald Trump. I believe it's probably the end of his divorce. Let me pause for a second. Okay, so I'm back. So Donald Trump and Marla Maples finalized their divorce on June the 8th, 1999. The astrology, they showed that something was going on inside Donald Trump's life. It happened on March 25th, 1999, and that's where his progressed moon had changed signs. But I think that Marla Maples, she cited the fact that the ups and downs in regards to Donald Trump's businesses and his finance situation, it put a strain on their marriage, and that's what caused the divorce or whatever. However, it's crazy that Donald Trump met. The astrology shows that Donald Trump, something happened inside Donald Trump's life around September 1998, and he met Melania Trump. So moving on. So in recent times, so the same astrology happened inside Donald Trump's chart. So on January 29th, 2026, that's when for Donald Trump his progressed moon entered his fourth house, and around this time the Epstein Transparency Act situation was going on, and Bill and Hillary Clinton were subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress, and they skipped out on their depositions on, I believe, January the 14th, 2026. And so Bill and Hillary Clinton was almost held in contempt around this date of January the 29th, 2026. And that's where they finally agreed to be deposed on February the 26th and the 27th, which is also the same day that Resident Evil 9 was released. And if you don't know, all the way back when Bill Clinton claimed to not have had sexual relations with that woman or Monica Lewinsky, and that the exact date that happened was on January 26th, 1998. Days before that Bill Clinton denied that he had sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky, Resident Evil 2 was released on January the 19th, 1998. So that's interesting. But anyway, so that's what happened on January 29th, 2026. A lot of stuff going down with Bill Clinton again. And Hillary Clinton. Anyway, so on July the 23rd, 2026, for Donald Trump, his progressed moon will enter the sign of Sagittarius again. And so maybe something may happen that changes people's beliefs about him. Like I can only imagine that Donald Trump starting to date a model, and also like you can think like he's like some kind of playboy or something like that. But anyway, but the people's perception of him coming back and I think he regained his billionaire status. I believe that at that time, 1998, 1999, his net worth was shown to be, I believe, 1.5 billion. And then and it comes out that he's now courting a model or an upcoming model. But anyway, so that same astrology will happen on July the 23rd, 2026. This is around the same time that Bill Clinton's going through the same astrology as the end of his impeachment / trial in regards to the Monica Lewinsky situation. And also on the same day that around the same date that Chelsea Clinton, it's like she has a restriction in regards to her status, pride, and ego, and it's emotional. Looking at her astrology. So that's all I was trying to say. It took me a long time to say it. Sorry. Anyway, I've already said. I said in my previous video, but I want to have everything consecutive here. So let me pause in some more second to regather myself. So pause. Okay, so I guess you can say that maybe some people, the people that was around Donald Trump in his circle and outside of his circle, they probably started doubting him and expected him to fall and fail and lose everything, and yet he ended up regaining his billionaire status and getting a model. So I'm like, people's beliefs in regards to him just were shattered. So the same thing can happen now in 2026. Looking at the astrology and looking at everything that's going on. People keep on saying that everybody's saying. I'm watching all these news channels or whatever. Donald Trump can't come back from this, and yada 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 yada. Looking at the astrology, he can, but he's gonna go through he's gonna go through some hell. But his chart says that he's a winner. Anyway, he has Rahu inside of the 10th house. And it's shocking too, because he has Rahu inside of 10th house and Uranus inside of 10th house, which means shock. And then the Sun, which is status, pride, and ego, 10th house. And then his his hidden enemies, that their beliefs are destroyed. They get eclipsed, as a matter of fact, because he was born under a full moon eclipse. Anyway, so let's see here. I was going down my notes, I think. So I think I was also saying that for Bill Clinton, on August the 9th, 2026, that's the first time inside of his chart that one of his planets, that his progressed moon will aspect a malefic, Uranus, and that's actually it's going to hit two. It's going to be a big event because his progressed Uranus conjoined his natal Uranus on October the 11th, 2025, and progressed Uranus is a very, very slow moving planet. Looking at progressions, and so there's going to be a big shock around August the 9th, 2026. And another date that I'm thinking about, or that's going to be a crazy period of time, is going to be October 1st, 2026. For some reason, Bill Clinton gets lucky around that date, but Hillary Clinton, it's like a bad restrictive event for her. And so it's confusing because, see, I did say all the way back on June the 13th that Bill Clinton was going through the same astrology as the beginning of his trial. But around the same date, Hillary Clinton, she got lucky, and so it seems like nothing happened around that date. However, Chelsea Clinton, her astrology said there's a shocking event that was going on inside of her chart. So, yeah. So let's see. Let me keep on moving. So let me pause. Okay, so I don't know where I stopped at, but I think I was talking about the astrology that's confusing me, which was the fact that Hillary Clinton, she got lucky on the 12th of June 2026. But Bill Clinton was going through the same astrology at the beginning of his trial on the 13th of June 2026. And Chelsea Clinton, there was a shocking event in regards to her status, pride, and ego. And I've already went over the astrology for July 2026. Oh yeah, I think that Leon Black is subpoenaed to testify on the 16th of July, 2026, because he wouldn't answer any questions in regards to uh I think non-disclosure agreements that were signed in regards to him, and so maybe some secrets could come out in regards to that. Also, I believe on the 14th of July, 2026, for Barack Obama, his progressed moon will make a semi-sextile to his natal Neptune, and maybe it could mean that a secret could come out around that date of the 14th, or around, it can be 6 days before or 6 days after the 14th of July, 2026. Anyway, so, but oh yeah, another date. So I've already said October 1st is going to be confusing because we've already seen what happens when Bill Clinton goes to bad astrology, but Hillary Clinton goes to the good astrology. It seems like things can't get canceled out. However, for Bill Clinton on the 13th of June 2026, I think what was aspected was his Chiron, right? Yeah, and so Chiron is not a malefic planet. It's not a bad planet. However, on September 27th and October the 1st, 2026, for Hillary Clinton, her progressed moon will make an aspect to her progressed and natal Saturn. That should be a very, very bad event for her. September 27th and October the 1st. However, on October the 1st, 2026, for Bill Clinton, he gets lucky because he has a progression of Jupiter. So I don't get that. We'll just see what happens. Also, I said that for Donald Trump, he would not be too happy about the results of the 2026 election or whatever, in my opinion. However, by the month of March 2027, for some reason, him and his circle, they get lucky. Why or how, I don't know, because I know inside of my chart it shows that something bad happens. And see, also on the 9th of June 2026, when I said that Bill Clinton was going through the same astrology as the beginning of his trial, I had a bad aspect shown inside of my chart, and that was probably also a reason why my prediction did not go as well as I planned it to go. But not only that, I think Hochit or some dude, some wrestler or whatever, called Michelle Obama a disparaging name or whatever. So that caused me a little irritation as well too. So the month of March 2027, I don't know what could go down. I just know that Donald Trump and his circle will get lucky, and for some reason, people will probably upset. Well, there'll be anger in regards to maybe my prediction or whatever. But however, Donald Trump and his circle, they get lucky for some reason. I don't know why. And so that's March 2027. So, but again, Donald Trump's not gonna be happy about the results of the midterm elections. So let's see here. Let me get to the end of this. So I made a post on June the 29th, 2026, in its caption, "From Trump's astrologer Iceblu333 to William Jefferson Blythe III or Bill Clinton, and to some of the snooty Trump derangement syndrome, TDS afflicted, and biased members of the astrological community who missed the upcoming / ongoing March 10th, 2025 through October 2026 huge astrological event shown in Bill and Hillary Clinton's astrology because of their egos, arrogance, and personal biases against President Donald J. Trump. Everyone's beliefs are about to be fundamentally shaken, shattered, destroyed, obliterated, and atomized." Looking at Donald Trump's progressed moon entering the sign of Sagittarius on July the 23rd, 2026. But anyway, moving on. I said, and then 3 American flags, and so on. And so I said, so everyone's beliefs are about to be also. Let me start back over. So everyone's beliefs are about to be fundamentally shaken, shattered, destroyed, obliterated, and atomized. And then, nuked from orbit, gone. Nothing will ever be the same. Total annihilation of beliefs. Why will it happen? I don't know. But it's inevitable at this point. Either this was planned all along, wink wink, or something happens that triggers such a massive event as such. It is inevitable. Credo side. The total annihilation and destruction of beliefs or belief systems. Or in short, everything that you once believed in is about to go bye-bye. Judgment. Game over screen. The full month of May plus August plus October means things are about to get very interesting. The second meteor. Final judgment. And I said happy Independence Day or 4th of July and happy second year anniversary of President Trump surviving an almost fatal assassination attempt that happened on July 13th, 2024. And I said sign astrologer Iceblu333, the god of astrology, the Madoreru Uchiha of astrology, the Kudo Shinichi / Conan Edogawa of astrology, the Mastermind or Monokuma of astrology, the Sherlock Holmes of astrology, the Scooby-Doo of astrology, the Hong Kong Phooey of astrology, and or the next Jane Dixon. And so let's see here. So I also captioned this. I said the real first meteor was posted by the FBI / DOJ on May the 7th, 2025, and that was the memo in reference to Epstein. Them saying that Epstein did kill himself and Epstein did not have a client list. And let me also say that this memo was unsigned. So yeah, and on the day that this memo was posted by the FBI / DOJ, that was signed by nobody. Bill Clinton was going through the same astrology as the day that he denied having sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky, and it's where his progressed moon made an opposition to his natal ascendant. So his progressed moon made an opposition to his natal ascendant. And so that same astrology happened on July the 5th, 2025. And let me see if I can find that picture real quick, because weirdly enough, inside of that inside of his astrological chart, it showed that there was a literal arrow pointing right at him, just like that painting that that Epstein had inside of his house or whatever, or on his island. There was a painting of Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress pointing at you, and it reminds me of the song by K. Michelle. I know it's easy to point your finger at me, cause I say the things that only y'all think. Judge Me by K. Michelle. Yeah. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick. Pause. So here it is right here. I had to go to AstroSeek and find it. I posted it on July the 5th, 2025. But here's the image right here. With the astrology, it shows, I don't know if you can see it, but the moon is right here. Ooh. And his ascendant is right here. And I had to just draw an arrow directly to it. So I could just... And so the last time this happened was on January 26th. January 26th, 1999. You can see the arrows pointing and stuff like that. Okay. Oh boy. How do I? Yeah, I can't. So yeah, I was trying to get a little dot out of the way. But okay. Okay. What's my point? Let me pause a second because I'm tired. It's a lot of stuff, so pause. Okay, so if you don't know, the ascendant, which the moon is aspect inside of Bill Clinton's chart, it rules you, your physical being, yourself. And so it's crazy that the astrology is saying that, and then you have the picture of Bill Clinton and Epstein's on Epstein Island, and he's pointing right at you in this blue dress. And like I said, it reminds me of the song by K. Michelle titled "Judge Me." And the painting's name is Parsing Bill. And the FBI, since they took this picture, this form right here, because there's a picture beside or whatever. But anyway, it's called Parsing Bill, and I said the artist is the FBI Patrina Ryan Cleed or Clyde. I think it's Cleed. And that song, I know it's easy to point your finger at me. It's called "Judge Me" by K Michelle. There's something else. Oh, the trumpets. So towards the end of the song or whatever, in the same song called "Judge Me," at timestamp 1 minute and 55 seconds, some trumpets start blowing. You know, I have a saying in regards to Donald Trump. I said, let the history books / devices always and forever say, 1 year and 3 days after Donald Trump should have died by assassination, he came back, and on the third day, like Jesus, pissed in the face of his enemies, called it rain, and then destroyed them. And then he lived happily ever after. The end. P.S. I did say biblical. Before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I said sign astrologer, Iceblu333's, the god of astrology. But the trumpets are in relation to Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, blowing his trumpet right here. And yeah, this tarot card is called Judgment. And K Michelle's song is titled "Judge Me." It's crazy. But at timestamp 1 minute and 55 seconds, that's when you hear some trumpets. Anyway, what else? Let's go back to Astral Seek. Oh yeah, I did not know that K Michelle considered herself the black Taylor Swift of music, or of country music or whatever. And she's been saying this for the longest, that she was born in Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee. She didn't fly there from out of state. She was born there. So she's originally from Tennessee, I guess, where country is extremely popular at, or originated from. I don't know. I don't know the history of that. I just know that I did not know that she considered herself the black Taylor Swift. Anyway. And you know, I had this list titled the Cardi B / Joe Biden / Candace Owens wish list or whatever. And it's kind of entangled with Taylor Swift because of the number 13, which is apparently her favorite number. Anyway. Reportedly or allegedly. Anyway, so let me see here. Pause for a second to see is there anything else I want to add to this video. Pause. But what I was trying to say was that this memo from the FBI / DOJ that was released on July the 7th of 2025 was the real first meteor. Because on the same day that it was released or whatever, Bill Clinton was going through the same astrology that he went through when he claimed to not have had sexual relations with that woman or Monica Lewinsky. Anyway. So, that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy if Hillary Clinton, I tried to warn Hillary Clinton about her astrology or whatever, and she gave my information to the FBI, and I'm not at some little runt's desk. I'm on Dan Bongino's desk and Cashy Patel's desk, and her not knowing I'm probably one of the best astrologers out of the world. But maybe I'm just crazy as shit. Or maybe Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, and Donald Trump all know me intimately at this point now. Like I said, I've had airplanes fly over my house like every day for a very, very long time, ever since I predicted Charlie Kirk's death. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say inside this video. So I got these little two Batman rubber duckies or whatever. You know, I tried to put them inside of some water today, and the head is so big that they just plop over. So they don't really float. Well, they do float, but not upright. But anyway, when I saw this this thing at Dollar General, I thought about Dan Bongino, and then he said something inside his deep voice. I think he said something like, "We're gonna get some pedophiles." Like when I saw this, I thought about me and Cashy Cash. Cashy Cash. Anyway, that man's gonna probably lock my ass up one good day. Anyway, people probably like, so you think I'm a joke, huh? No, I don't. I don't, Cashy Cash. Don't. Whatever. Anyway, anyway, that's gonna be it for me. I think I joked around a good amount, so I'm gonna end this at 1 hour and 33 seconds. Happy 4th of July. We'll see if any more of my predictions come true. Bye for now.